just at a time.
What would you like to talk about today, Gail?
Oh, I don't know. You know, your last, I think it was your podcast where you talked about an out of body experience.
Yeah.
I've actually had, but it wasn't based on trauma.
Okay.
And it was such a fun experience. I haven't had it again since. I'd love to have it. But I thought maybe we could talk about that because it is not related.
I didn't say it in that one because the people who were coming at me about it was violent, and I'd had violent ones. So I did it.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I have too. I just went and laid down on the bed. I'm just gonna gel for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly I was on a horse. And I've talked about this, I think, in another podcast or video. But I was on a horse riding bareback, and I had long black hair, long, like to my butt, you know, and I was so happy and having fun. And I was riding the horses with another guy, with a person, with another man. And he had long hair, and we were looking at each other and racing each other and laughing, you know, and I had this, and I'm thinking, this is me, but this is not me. You know what I mean? And I'm riding the horse. And the next, when I thought that, boom, I'm back in the bed. You know, and
Right.
I thought about it for a long time. I didn't tell anybody about it because by that time I knew not to share that stuff with my parents. It just scared them. Okay. Talking to dead people and shit, I freaked them out. You know, so there comes a point when you realize you're freaking them out and you stop telling them. And I was just thinking about it one day, you know, not too long after, kind of gelling, thinking about it. My mom said, "What are you thinking about?" And I just, blah, 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 blah. And I just told her, right? And she was like, "Rita, maybe we should take you to see, you know." And I'm like, "Mom, you know, it was a vision. I don't know what to tell you. I felt the horse. I saw the man. We were laughing.
Yeah.
I knew it was not my body, but I was in it." You know? And I said, "You can think whatever you want, Mom. It's not the devil. Okay? It's, I don't know what it is. There was nothing devil about it." You know? And she was the good Catholic who was, the church had walked all over her, and she had left the church, and it kind of broke her heart when that happened. You know, and after that she was always searching. You know, so I just wasn't going to ever mention another out-of-body experience to her.
Yeah.
That was one that just happened.
Well, in mine, and the same with mine. Like, I mean, I'd never kind of experienced it before, and I was just laying down one day, and I was kind of in that in-between place, which I don't really get that often, but I was there, and I could feel my feet starting to rise up. And I thought, "Oh, what's this? This is interesting." And then it would come down. And then finally it started to rise up, and I just let it be. And it was almost like I was ripping, not ripping in the sense of violence or anything like that, but it was like it was ripping up from my body. And then I was on the ceiling. And I looked down and I saw my body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, wow, this is really cool." And these somersaults. It's like, you know how freeing that feels to be able to do somersaults in the air? I mean, I can hardly do one on the ground now. And then I thought, "Oh, okay, well, what else can I do?" And I thought about a person, and then I was there peeking around a wall. And there was a person at the mirror. The person didn't look like I know him now to look. He looks different, but I was peeking around the wall and he was looking in the mirror. And I thought, "Oh, well, that's interesting, but I feel like I'm kind of intrusive here. I think I want to go. So just with the thought, right? I'm gone. And then I'm laying on the end of my bed, but I couldn't see anything at this point, but I could hear, and there was these conversations. My daughters were talking around me in my room as I was just kind of laying there, but that conversation wasn't going on in the room where in the room where the body, I came from that body, right? I don't know where I was, but there was this going on. I was just listening. And
Yeah.
then I thought, oh, that's interesting. And then I found myself back in my body. It was, and how do I do that? I want to do that again. That was so fun because now that I kind of have experienced it, right? What else could I do? I would try a few other somersault backflips. Maybe I could try some backflips.
That is cool. That is really cool. But yeah,
It was fascinating.
it is. And well, I didn't know what was going on. You know, I was 13, you know what I mean? And it was just like, wow, what was that?
Oh yeah. Well, I was older.
Yeah. You know, and have some kind of inkling of what
years old.
it could be. But yeah, that was in
Now I never had anything like that when I was really young.
yeah,
It was most that
I had all that when I was young.
Yeah, I didn't that I recall or that had any kind of effect on me to make me think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, for the longest time, the one thing I did was my grandmother. I woke up, my one grandmother, maternal grandmother, had just passed away. And so I was in bed that night, and my maternal grandmother came to the side of my bed and she showed herself there. And we talked, but not with my voice, right? With just inner conversation based. And for years, I didn't know if that was a dream or if that was real or what it was. And so when I kind of started this journey, went the psychic route and all that sort of stuff, mediums and that spiritual route. And then I found Neville, and it was like, oh, okay, it all makes sense now, finally. Like I knew it was something, but I didn't know because there was nobody I could talk to at that time. I didn't know anybody. So it was just kind of, okay, well, I know that it happened. I just don't know if it was in a dream. It didn't feel like a dream. It felt like she was beside my bed.
Exactly. I mean, that happened to my sister after my grandmother died, my paternal grandmother. And she had she'd been given a cross that my grandmother loved and had over her bed. So she put it over her bed and went to sleep. And my grandmother came and it freaked her out. She screamed and was screaming, right? And we all ran to her room and she's screaming, Grandma Mendel's here, Grandma Mendel's here. You know, and my dad's like, crying out loud, give me that cross. My mom's like, the cross is not.
Well, what was nice about my experience is that I knew she was there to tell me my other grandmother was good. Not to worry.
Yeah.
Everything was good.
It's all good.
So, I mean, it was very, like there was no fear. It was just very comforting. It didn't matter if it was a dream or if she was beside my bed, other than I really think she's beside my bed, but I'm not quite sure because I never heard of that before at the time.
Yeah.
So for me, that was kind of like a thing that I saw that way, but it didn't matter one way or the other. I got the message, which is obviously telling me the message.
I think a lot of us have those kind of experiences, but a lot of us are just like that. We don't know if that was a dream or, you know, was it real? Was it not real? And it's there. You never let it really go because you don't know how to categorize it, for lack of a better term. You know, so you'll take it out and think about it.
Yeah, and you remember how you felt, right?
But that's the thing.
And that's kind of what.
Even years later, it's, you know, I'll never forget this. I felt it. I knew it, you know. I was riding bareback on this horse.
Yeah.
I don't know where I was. I was riding a horse. And I don't ride horses. You know? Most people think all Texans ride horses. I don't. I don't.
Oh.
That was kind of like, where'd that come from?
Well, you know what? Like I said, I wish I could do that again, that whole leaving the body. I don't know how I did it in the first place. So I've kind of just left it up to, okay, if it happens again, it happens again, because I don't think I can control it. Like, it was kind of like, I've had certain things happen since I've started reading Neville and learning about what Neville had shared,
Right.
5 years ago, that I've never experienced before, visually. For example, like when I close my eyes, I see black only. I don't see any vivid sort of scene or anything like that. I've had one, when I first, within the first month or two of reading Neville daily, I had this vision that was a vision that's not one that I would ever have. Like, it didn't really, it related to what Neville shares, but it's not like I sat there and thought, okay, well, that should be there and that should be there. It just kind of showed up.
Yeah.
And it stayed. Like, I didn't open my eyes and let it go or anything like that. And that was kind of like, well, that's sort of odd for me, because if I ever did start seeing, which is very rare, my eyes would always automatically open up. I wouldn't want them to, because I'd want to see what I was looking at, but they would automatically open up. So beyond me, beyond my what my conscious mind is thinking, I guess, is the point I'm trying to make for those kinds of things. And I think that leaving the body too is, okay, it's time. Have this experience. See, you can do it.
Yeah, I think some of it's that, you know what I mean? Okay, yeah, sure. You know what I mean? But it really is, everybody's journey is different.
Right.
So,
right.
Because people get so freaky about, I can't do sats, I can't visualize, I can't, I'm not feeling. And it's like, you have 5 senses. Think about how you talk to yourself.
Yeah.
You
actually really helped me with that, because I'm falling into that visual. I just see black. Like, I just couldn't relate to I couldn't feel, if I reached out to touch a table,
right,
inner wise, I wasn't feeling the table. And I have before, but it's kind of like one of those unconscious things where, see, you can do it. See, you felt that.
Yeah.
But it's not something that I can just say, okay, I'm going to do this. And I did it.
Right.
You really helped me with you don't have to.
You
are already.
You're already doing it all the time. Sit down and think about how you think. Understanding the key is feeling. And that doesn't mean just touching.
Yeah.
Okay, this is your biggest organ. And even if you can't see or hear or speak, you feel. Even if you don't taste, you can feel.
Yeah.
So that's, it's important, because the idea is, even if you don't have any other sense, you still feel, but it's really about the feeling in your heart, in your gut, what you really think, and most people, how do you know what you really think? What comes trippingly off the tongue? It just comes out. That's what's on your heart.
Yeah.
That's what you really think. Okay. And this is automatic once it's wrapped on your heart. So it's just going to keep pushing that out there until, like you said, you've got to deny it. You know what I found funny is technology. And I was a Nobel network engineer. And in Nobel networks, it's when you set it up, when you set up the provision for everyone, everyone's tied down. They can only read. and you must give them the rights. Okay? Nobody's an admin. You give them the rights according to the role they play. Okay?
Right.
So
Yeah.
they get the resources that they need according to the role they play. Okay? But in Microsoft, it's all hell breaks loose. You have access to everything, and now we'll just take away as needed. Okay? Meaning you go fuck it up and then we'll take it away from you. Give everybody all access. Go ahead. Oh, look, they fucked that up. So Microsoft was very much slower at developing a role-based kind of thing. So I see Novell Networks as God-inspired because it was the first one that came out with, you know, and it was perfect. It's perfect. You're all freaking tied down, president to the janitor, till I tell you. With Microsoft, it's all hell's breaking loose. We got to clean this up. We got to make some rolls. We got to drop them in this. And eventually they came to the same conclusions as Novell Networks. You tie them down first, then you give them based upon the role, what they need. And the network, which is what we're doing in the limited.
Thank you so much for our ending. Yeah, thank you so much. We'll have to do it again.
Yes, we'll do it again. That was fun. Thank you so much, Gail.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Later,
Okay,
Gator.
I'll talk to you soon. Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
He doesn't live on the pages of some book.
Now you hold on a second.
No, he doesn't. He's inside each and every one of us.